Good evening, guys. Good day. Good day. Peace and blessing. Peace and blessing. All right. What I want to talk about right now in this video is about the moral decay of the Western society, of how it come about, right? Of how some people out there are not worth convincing anymore. Because there's no point. It's like talking to a brick wall. These people I'm talking about are the leftist, Marxist socialists, right? And how they come about via the Tavistock Institute, the Fabian Society, um, um, the Frankfurt School, right? All these people who've been influences in our educational system. They've been entrenched so much, so hard. Some people in the middle, conservative, are basically giving up. It's up to and it's gone to the point where independence has given up on talking to them. It even gone to the point where moderate Democrats are even giving up and just switching sides. Right? These far leftists is the cause of what's going on right now. They are basically useless idiots being used by these INSOC, all right, 1984 globalists. I hate to say it, but that's what it is. These people don't understand. I mean, these books by these books like Brave New World, 1984, Animal Farm, all these stuff, right? You expect that these people would read this book and get something out of it, but apparently they don't get anything out of it. These are supposed to be warning signs, all right, to make people prepare what's going on if you don't think for yourself. And that's what they're doing. They're preventing these next generation in this institution, in this communist Marxist institution called the university, that give out the Bacchus degree, right? The Bacchus degree via bachelor's and all that stuff. These Ivy League indoctrination stations, right? These people think that they're better than anybody just because they went to an Ivy League school, not realizing they're just useless pawns by these globalists that's going on right now. These Marxists. And that's why these people they don't know what they're lost. They're lost soul. They're irredeemable reprobates, right? You cannot save them. Like I said before, some people in a moderate section, right? Moderate Democrats are even switching sides. Some independent are just don't even want to deal with them because there's nothing getting through their thick skulls. And these things that are going through right now is some of the things that leads to the moral decay of society right now. Right? Try to say one thing is one thing. Try to make something that's non-factual factual. Try to say men could give birth. Right? Men can menstruate. These are people that refutate science. And these are the people that revered science, right? These are the people that say, oh, believe in the science. But yet again, when you use science in front of them, they don't want to believe, right? They think their emotion justified everything else. These science worshiper, right? These people are basically a cult. If you're not aware, these leftist Marxist institutions, they're basically a cult, right? These students, they're foot soldiers, right? They're brainwashed MK Ultra foot soldiers, right? They're cults. They're so entrenched in what the thing they're doing. These climate planet worshippers, right? That's what I heard from somebody, right? They are climate worshippers, right? They've gone to a point where either you believe us or you don't. It's fascism, right? Either agree with us or we're gonna beat you down, right? And to try to say 2 plus 2 equals 5, right? Like in the book 1984, if you don't, they try to beat that and grind it in your head. Like, if you don't believe us, we're just gonna beat it into you, right? And the rational people could understand that 2 plus 2 is not equals 5. 2 plus 2 equals 4, right? But no, they don't care. They don't care about factual evidence and anything like that. Either you believe in us, well, we're gonna tell you, or you don't, or we're gonna beat it into you until you submit. All right, that's how Winston from 1984 figured that out. They beat the heck out of him. All right, if you read the book 1984, it's an eye-opening book, but it's not I don't want to say a great book. It's not a pleasant book to read. All right, it's not a pleasant book because it's kind of brutal in a way, because these people will not stop until they get their ways. And right now, the point of this video is to warn people the type of psychology is being pushed right now is very detrimental and toxic to a society, a functioning society, right? and they refuse to learn. Even though you point out their mistakes, their flaws, their fallacies, they refuse to accept that, right? Like in this one video about Matt Walsh who spoke on this university about transsexual, and he tried to tell this trans person about, okay, if a guy call an ambulance and he's saying he's experiencing a symptom due to something like a miscarriage, will you entertain him, saying agree with him, or you can tell him that he's not experiencing a miscarriage? Right? If you look at his videos, it's all over the internet. But and then it got the trans guy to quiet up, and he's when he quiet down, he was still trying to defend his statement. Said yes, but people who still identified as women can still get this, that, and that. Like, what the heck are you talking about? So there's no way of getting through this people. It's like talking to a brick wall, and it got to a point where people like I saw this video from Jason Whitlock. If you don't know who Jason Whitlock is, he's a sport commentator. He's telling to a point that it's gotten to a point where there's no common ground for him to agree with his leftist partner. Before there was a common ground they could agree with, right? Then now, fast forward to today, he said there's no common ground anymore. You just can't do it. You just can't accept what they're trying to push. I mean, certain things that we could find common ground on, now they try to tell us, if you don't think a guy's or a female, you have to believe us. And got to a point where people, no, we're not playing this foolish game no more. All right? We're not foolish game. These virtue signaling, all these stuff that we're going through right now. These are the things that led to the moral decay of society right now, where people cannot find common ground. A nation divided cannot stand by itself. And they're pushing all this stuff that's going through right now. All right? And same for me. I mean, it got to a point where I don't even discuss politics with my family anymore. All right? There's no point. It's not going to get through them. They're shapes, basically. They just believe in anything the government tell them to do. They don't believe. They think I'm crazy because they keep saying I'm a conspiracy, whatever it is, right? But I don't see myself as that. I analyze things. There's nothing about theory at all. It's about analyzing things for yourself. And these people cannot analyze things. They just believe word of mouth and expect and just follow things. Follow what's being taught to them. Instead of challenging things, challenging ideas, they just accept it willingly. All right, and these are the people who are going to be led to the meat grinder. All right, when it comes to that point, right? In that video, The Wall by Pink Floyd, those are the people, right? Soylent Green, they're gonna be fed themselves. They're gonna eat each other alive. Literally, they're gonna eat each other alive. All right, while rational people are gonna realize what's going on, we're prepared for what's coming up. All right, and I hate to say that, but it got to a point it is not worth saving anymore. All right, these people are lost causes. When you're lost like that, there's no way of bringing them back. Like the former KGB agent Yuri Bosvanov, I think he said that. He said that once a person is brainwashed to that point, to that extent, there's no way for them to come back. When they're entrenched in their ideology, they're set for life. All right, they have to, in order for us to combat that, they have to fall for themselves. They had to crash and burn. All right, because there's no point in saving them. You could beat them in there. You could beat them, and you have to beat them in the head you have to let them get punished by their own people for them to realize that. And they should have understand this a long time ago, and they're not. They're not thinking critically. When I was in high school, right? When I was in public school, I was fortunate to have teachers that tell me to think for yourself, right? They were promoting, you have to think for yourself. You gotta be a critical thinker. Now they don't even offer that class to be a critical thinker anymore. I think, I haven't seen it, right? Back when I was in school, they used to offer a class called critical thinking, to see whether you could think for yourself, could analyze things, and I don't think I'm not sure they still offer those kind of classes, but I hadn't seen it because I hadn't been in school for a while. But yeah, these people that they're talking about just clearly just cannot think for themselves. All right, they're lost souls. I guess only Jesus could save them, right? And they refuse to follow the religion. I'm not saying religion is for everybody. I mean, if you have your own ideas about religions, right, that's on you, right? And I respect what you say about religions, and I'm not here to demonize any religions. But at some point, some people need directions, right? And sometime these direction comes from a form of religions, right? There are bad religions, there's occult religions, right? And unfortunately, these people that are going through right now, their ideology has become their religion. These planet worshiper has become a cult, all right? And I hate to say that, but these extinction rebellion is self destruction. That's what it is. So I try to say human beings are the cause of the world, the world chaos, the world um this disintegration. Like if you didn't say that, that's what basically self termination. That's what it is. These ideas of carbon neutral, reduce the carbon. First of all, you're a carbon being. If you want to reduce carbon, that's mean you're saying you have to kill yourself, right? You have to delete yourself. I want to say that word. That word is that word KILL is monitored by the algorithm. So I'm trying to not say that word. You have to delete yourself. All right, that's what it is. And that's what carbon neutral is. What is carbon neutral? Carbon neutral comes from nothing that lives. All right. In order to be 100% carbon neutral, is a dead entity. And when you see corporations say that, like Google, right, we're 100% carbon neutral, right? That means they're a corporation. Corporation cannot produce carbons. Corporation is a dead entity, right? But in the Supreme Court, they have rights like human beings for some reason. That's like one failed decision by the court right now. But yeah. I mean, of course you're carbon neutral if you're a corporation, because corporation is not alive. Corporation is just an entity, all right? It's just organizations. It's not living, all right? That's why it's called corporations, and they try to brag like they're 100% carbon neutral. Of course you are, but people like living being like me, you, and everyone else, we are carbon beings. We produce carbons. We have to produce carbon in order to live. This planet need carbons in order to survive. This planet need carbon in order to survive because plant absorb carbons. All right, carbons are plant food. Why do you think in some greenhouses they have carbon generators? Right, it's to feed. It's plant food, right? You go to these fancy greenhouses that at nurseries, they have a machine that produces carbon purposely for the plants because they need the plant to survive and be strong. That's what it is. And they tell us that by emitting carbon is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. If emitting carbon is a bad thing, right? If emitting carbon is a bad thing, why are they spraying things in the air, right? Like, isn't that defeating the purpose? Isn't that defeating the purpose? You say we need to reduce carbon, yet again you're spraying things in the air. And you come out to a beautiful day, and next thing you know, you see all these lines in the sky, right, making the day uglier. It's ugly, don't you? Can't you guys see that? When you see all these lines of chemicals in the air, isn't that ugly? I don't want to see that. And they try to justify that's a good thing. How's that a good thing? You're still putting things in the air. But I just want to stop on that. These people. It's come to a point where rational people are they have their patience is wearing thin with these far leftists. And I can't blame them because you can only have so much patience for these people, and these people, in order for them to learn, they have to fall and suffer for themselves. And I think it's gonna go to that point where the economy collapse, and they're gonna have no choice but to fend for themselves, and they're gonna realize that the problem that was caused by them. Right? They're the one that contribute to the problem right now, and they aren't aware of it. These leftists, right? These Antifa, these BLM marchers, like you're contributing to your own destruction. By you should be worried about yourself. Stop worrying about things that doesn't matter. You need to worry about yourself. And on that note, guys, I'll check you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a good day. Peace and blessings.